The Roman Republic, founded in 509 BC, stands as a testament to the enduring power of republican ideals. Emerging from the ashes of the Roman kingdom, it established a system of governance that emphasized the importance of civic participation and the rule of law. For centuries it flourished as a beacon of civic virtue, military prowess, and political innovation. The Republic's structure allowed for a unique blend of aristocratic and democratic elements, creating a balanced and resilient political system. While its eventual transformation into an empire under Augustus marked the end of the Republic, its legacy continues to shape political thought and institutions to this day. The principles of checks and balances, separation of powers, and representative governance have their roots in the Roman Republic. The Roman Republic was not a static entity but rather a dynamic system that evolved over time in response to internal and external pressures. It adapted to the challenges posed by social inequality, military conquests, and political corruption. Its success can be attributed to a complex interplay of factors, including a strong sense of civic duty, a well-trained and disciplined army, and a flexible political system that allowed for adaptation and change. The Roman Senate, Assemblies, and magistrates played crucial roles in maintaining the Republic's stability and governance. This essay delves into the intricacies of the Roman Republic, exploring its key institutions, the delicate balance of power, and the challenges it faced. By examining the Republic's rise and fall, we gain valuable insights into the strengths and vulnerabilities of republican systems, lessons that remain relevant in today's political landscape. At the heart of the Roman Republic lay the Senate, a cornerstone of Roman governance and a symbol of its enduring legacy. This venerable institution was composed of elder statesmen who had previously held high office, embodying the wisdom and experience of Rome's most seasoned leaders. The Senate was not a lawmaking body in the modern sense but rather a powerful advisory council whose pronouncements, known as senatus consulta, carried immense weight. These decrees, while not legally binding, were respected and often followed by the magistrates and the people. Its members, drawn from the patrician class in the early Republic, and later expanded to include members of the plebeian class, possessed a wealth of experience in government, military affairs, and diplomacy. This blend of backgrounds ensured a diverse range of perspectives and expertise. The Senate's authority stemmed from its prestige, the experience of its members, and its control over state finances and foreign policy. It was the guardian of the Republic's treasury, overseeing expenditures and revenues, and ensuring the financial stability of the state. It played a crucial role in guiding Rome's expansion, resolving internal disputes, and shaping the Republic's response to external threats. The Senate's decisions on military campaigns and diplomatic missions were pivotal in securing Rome's dominance. The Senate's wisdom and guidance were instrumental in transforming Rome from a small city-state into the dominant power in the Mediterranean world. Its strategic vision and governance laid the foundation for an empire that would influence the course of history for centuries to come. While the Senate provided guidance and continuity, the executive power of the Roman Republic rested in the hands of two annually elected consuls. These magistrates, chosen from the ranks of the aristocracy, served as the highest-ranking officials in the Republic, responsible for commanding the army, administering justice, and representing Rome in foreign affairs. Their power, known as imperium, granted them the authority to issue commands and enforce the law. To prevent the abuse of power, the consul's authority was carefully circumscribed. They held office for a single year, after which they were expected to return to private life or assume other positions within the government. Furthermore, each consul had the power to veto the actions of his colleague, ensuring a system of checks and balances within the executive branch itself. The Roman Republic was not a pure democracy, but it did incorporate elements of popular sovereignty through its system of assemblies. These gatherings of Roman citizens, convened at regular intervals, possessed the power to elect officials, pass laws, declare war, and ratify treaties. There were three main assemblies: the Centuriate Assembly, responsible for electing consuls and other high-ranking officials; the Tribal Assembly, which elected lower-ranking magistrates and passed laws; and the Plebeian Assembly, composed solely of plebeians, which wielded considerable influence in protecting the rights of the common people. The assemblies provided a platform for political participation and served as a check on the power of the aristocracy. However, their influence was limited by several factors, including the complex voting procedures that favored the wealthy, and the fact that the Senate often set the agenda for their meetings. Section 5. Checks and balances. Maintaining harmony and order. The Roman Republic's remarkable stability and longevity can be attributed in large part to its intricate system of checks and balances. Power was distributed among different institutions, the Senate, the Consuls, and the Assemblies, ensuring that no single individual or body could amass absolute authority. This diffusion of power, combined with the principle of limited terms of office, helped to prevent tyranny and promote accountability. The principle of checks and balances extended beyond the formal institutions of government. Roman society was also characterized by a strong sense of civic duty and a deep-rooted belief in the rule of law. Citizens were expected to participate in public life, whether by serving in the army, holding office, or simply by voting in assemblies. Section 6. Crisis and Reform. The Gracchi brothers and a republic in peril. The Roman Republic faced numerous challenges throughout its history, including foreign wars, internal strife, and social unrest. These issues often tested the resilience and adaptability of the Republic's political and social structures. One particularly turbulent period was marked by the rise of the Gracchi brothers, Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus, in the late 2nd century BC. These two brothers emerged as prominent figures advocating for significant changes in Roman society. These tribunes of the plebs, driven by a desire to address the plight of the Roman poor, proposed a series of radical reforms, including land redistribution and grain subsidies. Their vision was to create a more equitable society where the wealth and resources of Rome were shared more fairly among its citizens. The Gracchi brothers' reforms, while well-intentioned, ignited fierce opposition from the Roman aristocracy, who viewed their proposals as a threat to their power and privilege. The elite feared that these changes would undermine their control over vast estates and diminish their influence in the Senate. The ensuing conflict plunged the Republic into a period of political violence and instability, culminating in the assassination of both brothers. Tiberius was killed in 133 BC, and Gaius met a similar fate in 121 BC, both falling victim to the intense political rivalries and social tensions of their time. The Gracchi brothers' tragic fate highlighted the growing tensions within Roman society and the fragility of the Republic's political order. Their deaths served as a stark reminder of the deep divisions and unresolved issues that continued to plague Rome, setting the stage for further turmoil and eventual transformation of the Republic. Section 7. From Republic to Empire, the Rise of Julius Caesar. The late Roman Republic was a period of profound change and upheaval, marked by civil wars, political assassinations, and the gradual erosion of traditional norms. Against this backdrop of instability, a new breed of ambitious and ruthless leaders emerged, seeking to exploit the Republic's weaknesses for their own gain. Among them, Julius Caesar stands out as a pivotal figure whose rise to power marked a turning point in Roman history. Caesar's military genius, political acumen, and ruthless ambition allowed him to amass unprecedented power, culminating in his appointment as dictator for life in 44 BC. While Caesar's assassination at the hands of his enemies prevented him from consolidating his rule, his actions effectively sounded the death knell for the Roman Republic. Section 8. The Legacy of the Republic. Lessons in Governance and Power. The Roman Republic may have fallen, but its legacy continues to resonate throughout history. Its institutions, laws, and ideals have served as a model for countless generations of thinkers, statesmen, and revolutionaries. The concepts of representative government, separation of powers, and the rule of law, all of which found expression in the Roman Republic, have become cornerstones of modern democracies worldwide. The Roman Republic's story is not just one of triumph, but also a cautionary tale about the fragility of republican institutions and the dangers of unchecked ambition. The internal divisions, political violence, and erosion of civic virtue that ultimately led to the Republic's demise serve as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, compromise, and a commitment to the common good. Section 9. Conclusion. The enduring influence of Roman republicanism. The Roman Republic, despite its eventual demise, left an enduring legacy on Western civilization. Its political institutions, legal principles, and cultural achievements continue to shape our world in profound ways. By studying the Republic's successes and failures, we gain valuable insights into the nature of power, the challenges of governance, and the enduring relevance of Republican ideals in a world grappling with new forms of tyranny and inequality.